No, I think it's too late. I think the thing is, Skip, anytime you're in a situation like this, like Jerry is, he's the president, he's the general manager, he's the owner, you look at every situation, okay, if we were to lose one of our key contributors, do we have adequate replacement at that position? Because this is what you factor in when you're building a team. Now, I can see, Skip, given Dak's history, the last 3 years, something says, okay, maybe we might need to get a little bit better adequate backup other than Cooper Rush. Now, if you like Cooper Rush, you stand pat with Cooper Rush. Now, this is not a Tom Brady situation. This is not a Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning went 14 years, never missed a snap. Tom Brady has gone basically every year since he had that knee injury and hadn't missed a snap, except, they're winning the game late in the season. He comes out of the ball game. But Dak Prescott, what have we seen, Skip? Okay, we saw the broken ankle. We saw the lat injury. We saw the calf. And so something is telling, okay, later in his career, the injuries are starting to come in with greater regularity. Is Cooper Rush enough? If Dak were to miss not a week, but a month, 6 weeks, maybe even 8 weeks, could Cooper Rush hold the fort down? If you believe he can, which I believe they do believe he can, because that's why they didn't go out in free agency and get anybody else, you stand pat. Because the length of time that it would take somebody else to come in, get up to speed with your system, Dak probably is going to be back. And so for me, Skip, I'm standing pat. Jimmy G would have been a nice option, but what do we know about the Cowboys? They don't like giving up draft compensation. They don't. First of all, they don't want to give up those picks, and they're not really trying to pay anybody. So I believe they're going to stay with Cooper Rush, considering the success that he did have last year. He went to Minnesota. He did win that game. And so they believe, and you said you like what you saw when he came in mop-up duty on Sunday. So factor that in. He won a game last year. He played particularly well. I think Tampa was just like, okay, nothing cheap, nothing deep. I don't really, and they didn't really game plan for him because you don't anticipate the starting quarterback goes out. And that's why a lot of times the backup can come in and have success because you didn't game plan for him. So for me, Skip, I don't see it happening. I believe they're going to move forward with Cooper Rush. And I know they're saying, and that's the problem. Everybody's trying to rush the guy. Okay, Dak come back in there. But they make it seem like Dak was a world beater before he got hurt.
Thank you.
Agreed. In 6 years, what have we seen, Skip? Stock market. Up, down, up, down, up, down. We haven't seen this. We've seen whoop.
How high are the highs against good teams?
Oh, Skip, we've seen him throw, like you said, we've seen him throw for 402, 403 last year.
That was his best game of his life against Tom Brady at Tampa when nobody expected anything from him because he hadn't played a single snap, even in a scrimmage through the preseason because of the oblique injury.
And we just saw him throw for what, $150?
Yeah.
A buck 60 something?
Yeah. Against the same defense.
Exactly.
They went from leading the league in points and yards last year to 3. They got 3 points. Way to go.
And probably less than about 200 yards, 250 yards.
Okay, my turn. Again, I'm lifelong diehard, so you can disqualify me. I don't have any objectivity when it comes to this football team. But I'm here to tell you that all last year, I campaigned for them to go get Cam Newton before the season started. And then at some points early in the season, go get Cam. If Cam's available, go get him. He's made to be a Dallas Cowboy because he has the mystique and the aura and the sort of playmaking emotion to his game that I love. I'm a big Cam fan.
Right.
He's only 33 years of age.
Right.
But at this moment, it feels like the league is just sort of passing. They've moved along, right? Okay, God bless him. It was 2015. He won the MVP in this league, and he took them all the way to the Super Bowl, and then Von Miller happened. Okay. I still believe that last year he was the right answer to this question.
Right.
Then Cooper Rush happened on Halloween night at Minnesota on a Sunday night game, solo stage game. Cooper Rush, he was undrafted out of Central Michigan, but he had this going for him. He plays just like every preseason game because they're not going to play Dak.
Correct.
And he's been in that system, if we lead up to this year, you realize he's been in this system for 6 years now.
Right.
There was a moment when he went to the Giants only because Jason Garrett, after he got fired and became the offensive coordinator, the Giants said, I want him to come here.
Right.
I want him to be our backup quarterback. And I don't know exactly what happened, but it didn't quite work out. And they finally cut him in their final cut.
Right.
And he came right back to Dallas. And remember, once upon a time before Andy Dalton became available, remember, Jerry paid Cooper Rush a nice piece of coin to be their backup quarterback. And then all of a sudden, Andy Dalton shows up, and it's like, oh, well, we got to go get Andy Dalton, okay?
Right.
So what did I see from Cooper Rush at Minnesota? Man, I saw poise. I saw confidence. I saw fearlessness. I saw him go for, wait a second, is this possible? 24 of 40 for 325 yards against Kirk Cousins at Minnesota. That night, Kirk threw for 184 with 1 touchdown, so he didn't do a whole lot. And by the way, if I look at my stat sheet here, would you believe that Justin Jefferson that night had 2 catches for 21 yards? Not sure that's going to happen again. Okay.
You hope it does, but it probably won't.
I probably won't. Okay, just to demonstrate, because a lot of our viewers probably have no real sense of who Cooper Rush is or was or what happened at Minneapolis. Yet I look at the numbers here, and man, it starts to look pretty good when I look at what the Dallas Cowboys did, their receivers, because Amari caught 8 for 122. Obviously, he's a Cleveland Brown, but CD caught 6 for 112. So that will work.
Right.
Okay. Cooper Rush looked pretty good to me. Is he as good as Dak? Well, no. Although I must tell you, Jerry got all, and Jerry is the cockeyed optimist. But I got to read you one Jerry quote from the other night. This is after the game, when he was gushing about how much they believe in Cooper Rush because they don't have to change a thing for him. Obviously, let's do the hypothetical. If you brought in Cam today, right here, right now, well, what are you going to do? You got to sort of
tailor the offense to what he does really well.
And you got to do it on the fly with the Bengals coming. And by the way, somebody on this side of the table picked Tampa Bay to play Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. And my team, the Dallas Cowboys, have to deal with Tampa and now Cincinnati, who is, we're going to talk about this a little later, a 7-point favorite at Dallas on Sunday. 7-point favorite. Okay, this is Jerry after the game, cockeyed optimist that he can be. And he's talking about Cooper Rush, and he says, candidly, we have to look at it, and I don't see this on the horizon, but I'm going to use it as an example of how I felt when Tony Romo went down against Seattle. Remember in the preseason game, just before we started here in 2016. And Jerry goes on, and how I felt 2.5, 3 months later when you had to make a decision whether Tony was starting or Dak. So he's dropping a little hint there.
Come on, Skip.
He says, I don't want to go this far, but
you went that far.
I'm going to make an example here. What if we get to a point, maybe a couple of months down the line, and you're having to say, wait a second, should we start Cooper Rush or Dak?
Skip, you've been around this game far too long. You know you don't open that Pandora's box.
Well, he did.
You don't put that.
He opened it before it even got started. Right?
You don't even, Skip. You don't even put that in the universe.
No.
You don't manifest that. You're asking for a problem. You're creating a problem that didn't even exist.
Okay, so there was a reason Cooper Rush was undrafted, but there was also a reason Tom Brady fell to the 6th round. And I'm not saying Cooper Rush is Tom Brady. I'm just saying he has slowly but surely won me over.
Yeah.
I think he's like legit.
I think he's an adequate backup.
He's an adequate backup where you can actually win a couple of games with him if you're kind of lucky. You're going to have to get some good bounces. You can look at this 2 or 3 ways, but here's the point with Dak. I'm pretty sure if I know what this kind of surgery was, I think they put a little plate and a little screw in because that's usually how you have to mend that injury. Correct. Because you got a crack at the base of your thumb in the bone, okay? So you help me out here. You need your thumb to grip the football. Okay, so it's not easy. So how good will Dak be when he comes? Let's say Jerry's right. And I threw this out yesterday. They said it was a clean break. It was easily repairable. What if he comes back in a month? Well, will he immediately be able to grip and be accurate?
No, I don't know. Maybe you've heard of one. You ever heard of any 4-finger quarterbacks?
No.
It doesn't matter.
It's impossible. It's physically impossible. You cannot grip the ball with 4 fingers and no thumb. You just can't do it.
I don't really know if you could play quarterback position with any missing fingers on your throwing hand.
Little known fact, to me, the thumb is the key one of the quote-unquote fingers, right? It's the key to...
Well, you can't even grip the football. I mean, what are you going to do? Throw it like a waiter, like a shot put or something?
Well, that's the only way you have to...
Exactly. So, but here's the thing, though, Skip. He said that he didn't think he'd have to make a decision 2 or 3 months when Tony Romo Are you saying that Cooper Rush could potentially be your starter? You drafted Dak. And so you said, okay, we can stay with this decision because Dak is going to be our quarterback moving forward.
Okay.
Are you insinuating?
That's what he was insinuating. And by the way, Dalton Schultz said after the game, Cooper has been slinging it since I got here. And that's a good term for what he does. He will go out and sling it. And remember that woeful, what was it, when Dak got hurt, 2020 season? When we had to endure, remember, B.A.D., Anthony DiNucci. So we got Ben DiNucci, and then we got Garrett Gilbert.
Right.
He was reasonable. He had one good game against Pittsburgh where they sort of took him to the wire, and Pittsburgh got to 12-0 that day.
Yeah.
But the point is, this guy's different. He's 28 years of age. He's mature. He's an adulted quarterback. They trust him because he's fearless. He'll try the downfield throws where he's not trying to not lose the game. He's trying to go win the football game. He will make throws, and he'll risk some throws that you have to risk if you're actually going to go win it.
But if you think about it, think about what happened in those throws. You saw receivers stepping up. Okay.
They were going and getting the football. Amari just took it away from the DB.
Cedric Wilson got the party started with that 73-yarder.
He did.
And then here come Amari, here comes CD. Okay, what did you see Sunday? What receiver is going to step up? Now, Stephen Jones said something very interesting yesterday. He says CD is going to have to show that he's a number one. Now, you've been speaking all offseason that he was a number one. There's no question he's a bona fide number one. We've cleared the decks. Now you're saying he needs to show you? Well, he should have already shown you that because you made a move that said he had shown you that. Now you said he needs to show you that.
That is correct.
I don't know, Skip.
And what did we both conclude? And you co-signed on it yesterday. Somehow there's no connection between Dak and CD, and I don't know what it is, and I didn't know what it was between Baker and Odell, but it just wasn't there for whatever reason.
Dak had better connection with Noah Brown on Sunday than CD.
He trusted Noah Brown. He seemed more comfortable going right to Noah Brown instead of double clutching, trying to throw it to CD on the slant.
But here's the thing, Skip. Quarterbacks lose confidence in receivers too now.
They do.
And you drop a couple, or you're not where you're supposed to be, or where I need you to be.
Yep.
I can't be messing with you.
Okay. I don't think Cooper Rush has any confidence problems with CD Lamb.
No, I don't think so.
I think Cooper Rush will fling it in CD's direction or sling it in CD's direction because he's just out there playing football.
Right.
And I like his mentality. I like his chances. I like the way the team responds. It just seemed like once he came in the game for Dak, after unfortunately Dak went out, there was new electricity to it. There was a little new urgency. To your point, maybe it's because Tampa's just backing off saying, okay, whatever you want, you can have whatever you want underneath. Okay, now I look at the schedule. We can do best case and we can do worst case. Here's my point to you, all right? Obviously, they're 0-1. Obviously, they're destined to be 0-2 because I
don't think Joe Burrow is going to play as bad this Sunday as he played last Sunday.
And by the way, I think they'll fix their long snapper situation. I don't know if he's still out or not.
They'll probably bring somebody in.
But that was a matter of all they have to do is kick one extra point or one chip-chop field goal, and the game is over, and they beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. And instead, both kicks got missed, and instead, finally, the Pittsburgh kicker nailed one.
Or you could have taken the delay a game and let the clock run down so you have Pittsburgh have less time than what they actually had. That was a theory. That was an ideal.
Yeah.
Who cares now?
Who cares now? Okay, so here's the point. Then they go to the Giants, and you say, boy, the Giants looked pretty good the other day, except Bullock had a 47-yard field goal to win the game after Tannehill had driven them from the 22 to the 30 on the other end. So Tannehill was making chunks of yards.
Yes.
So they had a shot to win the game, and they didn't win.
But Daniel Jones was still terrible.
Okay, Daniel Jones was terrible.
I'm going to make him beat me. I'm not going to let Saquon run free. I was like, hey, let's stop Saquon.
I'm here to tell you, I trust Cooper Rush more than I trust Daniel Jones.
Oh, I do too.
So I think we have a chance to win that game at Giants. Won't be easy. It's a Monday night game, but I think we have a chance. Then your man walk it to him, and the Washington Commanders come to Dallas. I think we have a chance to win that game. Well, they're crucial because if you can win those two to get to 2-2, at least you're afloat.
You're 2-0 in the division, which is most important.
Okay? Then you have to go to the Rams and go to the Eagles. I don't love chances even with Cooper Rush in either of those games. But then you come back and you get Detroit and Chicago at home. Even with Cooper Rush, I think we got a great chance of winning those two games. So let's do worst case scenario. Let's say Dak is out for 8 weeks instead of just 4 weeks. Well, if you could go 4-4, well, then your head is above water. The glass is still half full.
Right.
You're still breathing, right?
But here's the thing. What's the Eagles' record? You guys go 4-4. What's the Eagles going to be?
Okay, here's what I do, and I dare any Cowboy fan or Cowboy hater to look down the schedule. Then they have to go to Green Bay and go to Minnesota, and those are tough games to win, obviously.
Yeah.
But I already had picked this. Down the stretch of the season, the back end of the schedule, it's Giants at home, Indy at home, Houston at home. You get 3 in a row, all winnable. Then at Jacksonville, Philly at home. Then you go to Tennessee and you go to Washington. But I'm saying my team could get on a roll and win out. Could win out.
When are you on the Cowboys to win 8 games in a row?
They've done it many times in their history. Many times.
Yeah, only you remember winning.
So I got, even with those 2 losses at Green Bay and at Minnesota, if Dak is back and back in the saddle, 11-5 is possible, and that could be wild card. Here we come.
I'm going 10-7. Now, I'm going to stay at 10-7. That's if you go 4-4. I'm thinking more realistic. You're probably 3-5, and you know Dak's going to lose some games that you should win because that's what he's done throughout his career. He's always found a way to lose games that you thought and everybody else thought they should win. So I don't see that. I don't see him getting away from that. And so 10-7 is the best case scenario.
Well, what if they decide to ride with Cooper Robert Rush? What if they just decide we're just going to let him take us home?
I want you to do that.
Okay.
I want you to do that.
We'll see.
So you do realize Dak's going to be gone at the end of the season.
Once upon a time, Jimmy Johnson said, Steve Berline, I'm sticking with you, and we're going to roll right into the playoffs, and Troy Aikman was healthy again.
Well, they did take Steve Walsh in the supplemental draft in the first round.
That's a whole nother story.
So that tells you something.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.